fit it in. They're trying to say yoke, be yoke. What is it? What? Alike in the yolks, but the yolks was of the same religious belief. It was something about the yolks. I don't know, YOLK
You
or
know, like the ox yoke.
yeah,
Yeah.
be of the same. Yeah,
Be
yeah,
of the
yeah,
same
exactly.
yolk, yeah. Because
So
from what I always knew, the actual yolk of an egg is the same color. So
I
I
know
hope they're not talking about
it's
that yolk,
God.
because that just blows apart their whole thing.
Well, and it's just the whole whatever they're be of the same thought. And to me,
Be of
that
the
you could
same,
interpret it any way you want, but that's what it was meant to be of the
yeah.
same belief system that helps you to grow
Right,
as a
right. No, I
couple,
know
I
what you're
guess.
saying.
I don't know.
It
But
didn't mean the
but
same skin color.
yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome back to Grandma's
Grandma's
Not Right.
not right.
Grandma's Not Right.
Nope.
Nope. Nope, but we are here, and you know what? We feel all right. I
Yeah.
mean, as good as it can be for our age.
Yeah, right. We won't talk about all my ailments that I'm going through right now and stupid
Yeah,
old people crap.
we'll skip the drama and trauma right now,
Yeah.
I guess. Um, but what I do want to say is, if all of you would remember to like and subscribe, and we're trying to get more followers because there's some things that we'd really like to do down the road with this channel, some really fun things, and we're gonna throw in some stuff that's just so weird. You're gonna see you're gonna see exactly what we're about if you don't already know us. Um, but we're at a point where we want to have more people watching and commenting, because a lot of what we want to do is interacting with our viewers. So we need you to comment, ask questions, whatever, so that we have some
Yeah.
material that then we can kind of go back and forth with you, and that'll lead up to a live session where we'll actually have you involved in the show. So, help us out in that respect, please.
Yes.
Anyway,
Positive and negative. Because I'll tell you right now, if you send some stupid shit, I'm going to be putting it right there in the corner of your comment, and I will comment on your comment. So I don't
yeah,
care. It could be positive, great. But if it's negative and it warrants us being like, you're an asshole, I'm not afraid to point it out.
nope, nope. And we probably won't be well, we might be. I was going to say we won't necessarily be passive. Is it passive aggressive? No. Like our favorite one, Joanna Johnson, I think it is.
Oh,
Joanna?
yeah,
Joanna Johnson?
I think
She's the
so.
teacher in Canada with the cool
Oh,
haircut.
yes.
She's awesome. And
Yeah.
she is very I love her. I love when she's condescending, and I know she probably doesn't really wouldn't want to think of herself as that, but it's funny
I
because when
think she
people are being
knows. She knows
stupid,
exactly what she's
you know,
doing.
I love watching that. She rips them apart, man. To me,
Yeah.
and it's in such a passive aggressive, like, oh, you're so cute, I love that. I think it's hilarious. Anyway,
Right. Yes.
so please, friends,
Yes.
please interact with us.
Definitely.
All right. So I
All
like your
right.
shirt.
Yes, I got my pride. It's a cat. I don't know if you can see it, but it says
Oh, right.
pride. It's a
Nice.
cat. Now, I'll tell you, because not that anything happened special this week about in regards to that, but a while just I know we plan to be talking about pride and stuff, but I got for my workspace, I have two stories, one about pride and one about Juneteenth. I'll tell you real quick. So
Okay.
for pride, someone was talking about somebody at work was talking about a parent or something or somebody I don't know, and they or it was a worker or no, they were talking about somebody at the school. That's what it was, and they said I don't know. They just said something about her being gay, and they're like I think. And this is somebody who's not well versed in the gay community. Let's just put it that way. Not that they're mean or that they're prejudiced or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just, and just the way they said it, like, I couldn't read if she was being funny or being like, trying to be like, nice, but it's like, I don't know. I think she's gay. Maybe she needs a girlfriend or something. And it just, I could have taken that so many different ways. And I'm like, I, you know, I didn't want to say anything because I'm like, I'm not going to stand up for somebody if I don't know what you're saying. So I think she was just being
Right.
funny. But we say stuff like that without thinking. And the other story I had was Juneteenth. One of the parents, I guess, was upset because, and this parent said it in front of a black person and a brown person. We heard
Yikes.
the story from the brown person who told us that this parent was upset that we were going to be off for Juneteenth and continued to tell both of them how, oh, they just want to have another day off and, talking about us workers, I guess. I don't know. It's just like,
Wow.
you're saying it in front of a black person and a brown person. And I thought, wow, that takes some balls, dude. And just,
Yeah,
you're
no
going
kidding.
to, I don't have control. It's our administrators make that decision, not us, but it's putting it on us. Like we, the workers, just want our extra paid day off that us taxpayers have to pay. It's like, no, you just don't want a day off that you have to babysit your kid. You're mad that you don't get free
You don't
babysitting.
get free
And
babysitting
I'll
that day.
just and I'll just say this is from someone who doesn't work that's retired. So it's
Okay.
not like they're missing work. That's what pisses me off. And they only have the one kid.
Ah,
All right?
yeah,
I'm just going to
gotcha.
say that. Anyway, I just want to make those two notations before we began. I know we'll probably
Right.
talk about all kinds of stuff anyway, but
Sure.
I have a million, not a million, but
You go
a
right
lot of
ahead.
stories and gosh, I
I'll
don't know. I
just,
mean, what do you want to talk about first, girl? You want to talk about pride? You want to talk about Juneteenth?
I think a good start is maybe talk in general about, because those are two different things, but maybe
Yeah,
talk in
they are,
general
but
about,
they're in this month, so.
right, but I'm saying in general about how, um, within our lifetime, other cultures other than white
Yeah,
have wanted to celebrate things about themselves. Now, of course, the Jewish community have wanted to celebrate Hanukkah for well, ever since Hanukkah came about.
they
It's like
almost
their
they almost
celebration.
made it with the war on Christmas.
They all
They almost made it with Happy Holidays.
right, but but besides that, it's taken my whole lifetime, basically so far, for others to be able to say, "Hey, we're here too. Hey, we'd like to celebrate this or that," and I just think it's hilarious that people throw such a fit and have such a problem with it. Like Martin Luther King Day, for example. They throw such a big fit about that. It's like these are people that deserve to be recognized.
Yeah,
Anyway, I don't want to get
it
into
did
the weeds there, but
no,
people
but
are so upset about Pride celebration or about people recognizing in June, Happy Pride Month. They get so
yeah.
upset about it, and
Well,
they burn rainbow flags, or you know,
ooh, you're really
just
getting our goat that way.
they disrupt, the Pride parades and stuff. So it's like, and then Juneteenth, gosh, that's just a whole other layer of bigots and assholes that
Well,
want to
yeah.
tear that one down.
Well, it's like that parent I was just talking about. Okay,
Mm.
I'm not, and I'm being devil's advocate. I don't believe any of, I don't believe in this at all. What I'm saying, but from their perspective, they're thinking, okay, we gave you Martin Luther King, and now they
But
want
you need to do
Juneteenth, and
it.
now we got and now we got another set of people.
Yeah.
Like we gave the black people what they wanted, but now gays, that's where we draw the line because black people can't
It's
help
gone
being
too
black,
far.
and okay, we did do them wrong, but gay people, man, that's not biblical, and it's wrong, and
Right.
they shouldn't. So it's that kind of thing, like. Okay, well, a lot of people thought blacks and whites being together wasn't biblical. I got told that when I was in a predominantly white town dating a black person. Anyone
Yep.
who could fit it in, they're trying to say yoke, be yoke. What is it? What alike in the yokes, but the yokes was of the same religious belief. It was something about the yokes. I don't know, YOLK or
Like the ox yoke.
yeah,
Yeah.
be of the same. Yeah, yeah,
Of the
yeah,
same
exactly.
yoke. Yeah. Because
So
from what I always knew, the actual yolk of an egg is the same color. So
I
I
know
hope they're
that
not talking
makes
about
so
that yolk,
God.
because that just blows apart their whole thing.
Well, and it's just the whole whatever they're be of the same thought. And to me, that you could interpret it any way you want, but that's what it was meant to be of the
Yeah.
same belief system that helps you to grow
Right,
as a
right. Oh, I
couple,
know
I
what you're
guess.
saying.
I don't know.
It
But
didn't mean the
but
same skin color.
yeah, and I'll tell you this. I just told one of my was it a
But I
coworker?
want
I
to
was
ask them,
talking to
your
somebody.
oxes and horses, are they all always the same color
I know, right?
when they're yoked? That's right.
Hey, but organic yolks are orange and the store-bought
Well,
yolks are
you're,
yellow.
you're right. There is a slight difference. It's like one is just a little more pure and richer and more healthy than the other, but
And
they're
then we
still
could
within the same color family.
right. And then we could get involved in twins, which are literally of the same yolk, but whatever. Anyway, so
Right.
no, I don't know who I was telling this, huh?
I was just gonna say, no, I forgot what I was gonna say. What was I gonna
Ah,
say?
fuck you.
Oh well.
Anyway, getting old sucks.
I don't know.
No, but I was going to tell you, I was just talking to somebody about, God, now you made me fucking forget what I was going to say, bitch. I was just, dang it. No, I was just talking to, okay, because I had a friend from high school, and when Facebook first kind of started, MySpace, and all that, the social media, and I was following her. And first of all, she kept putting stuff up about abortion and, religion and everything. I let that go. I'm like, okay, you know what? I can let that go because that's just such a hot button and different beliefs. I'm not going to drop a friend because they're anti-abortion. That's silly. And I had mentioned to it, I commented like, hey, some people might have had one, you got to be kind of careful, like, you don't want to insult. And then I got the comeback, well, I understand, but, they did what they did and all is forgiven, but they still need to know it was wrong, whatever. And I was like, okay, that's kind of bullshit. So then this was my line. And this kind of has to do with races mixing. She said she thinks that the reason that the world's having problems is it's because the Tower of Babel was meant to send us out to be our own nations and our own people, like, which that's not exactly the story. If I even know the story about that, and when everybody starts talking different languages and then they can't stand or understand each other, so they go their own ways. Well, I
Yeah.
can't fucking understand you, so I guess I'm going to go over here and you're going to go over there. Okay, great. That's a great little allegory or whatever story. But her thought was because he did that on purpose so we would stay separate. And so she had this whole spiel about that's why we're having troubles because races are mixing. And I'm like, fuck that. I dropped her like a hot rock. I'm like, that was my limit. I
Yeah.
could have went in and did a big old comment and stuff like that. Fuck it, just drop her.
Yeah.
That was probably, that might have been 20 years ago, maybe 15. But I just thought it's the same old shit. Those people are still probably thinking the same thing. They're still voting. They're still having these same beliefs. So here comes Juneteenth. Well, that shit happened years ago. We already gave you Martin Luther King. It's like, yeah, this represents something else. That's the actual end of slavery because there were still slaves that were not told they were free. And they've been celebrating this, by the way, for years.
Right.
It's not a new thing, but in their minds, it's a new thing. Like someone just came up with Juneteenth recently. And I think that's what frustrates me is fucking
Yeah.
pick up a book. White people, pick up a book,
Pick up a
read
book.
something.
Well, that's like, oh, this is what I was going to mention earlier.
Uh-huh.
It kind of fits in. The whole uproar about getting rid of Columbus Day. They don't want that to be the holiday. They want it to be
Yes.
like maybe it could just be First Nations People's Day or whatever.
Well, somebody already did something like that, I thought. But
Well, some places do that,
okay,
but I'm
okay.
saying federally. That
Oh, yes, yeah.
where the
It's not a
schools and
federal. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
everybody
Okay.
celebrates, you know, Native Peoples Day or whatever. I don't know, but it's so funny to me that people get upset about that, and I'm thinking, why? Well, Columbus was not any hero. He made a mistake. He accidentally found the U.S.
Yeah,
accidentally, and then murdered a bunch of people in order to take it. It's like, why are we
exactly.
celebrating that, right?
Yeah, I know. Again, we used to have what was it? Washington's birthday and Lincoln's birthday
Yeah.
off, and now the schools just combine it to, like, President's Day
President's
for
Day.
one day, but you still get the other Monday off. But they don't explain it. Like, well, we get it off because it's Lincoln's birthday or Washington. And I just think it's funny because there's been a lot of other great presidents that have done things,
Yeah.
and I get it. Like, how many holidays can you have? So just have President's Day, and that would
Right.
do all of it. That
That
would encompass all of it.
I
Yeah.
so agree with you in that respect. But I also, and people may, I may get hates on this one. You're probably going to give me hates.
I don't know.
I also feel like there is a point to the fact that there are only so many days in the calendar to use for these things, right? So if we
Yeah.
do just President's Day, where we recognize every president that we've ever had, and it's a time for us to remember them and talk about them and compare them and whatever, right?
Yeah.
To honor them. And then, like, things like Martin Luther King Day, why not have a, what do you want to call it? Like a, I don't know what you'd call it, but an important person's day, or a American Hero Day or something like that. I don't know what you'd
Yeah.
call it,
I
where
mean,
you recognize all kinds of people, that have done things that are good for the nation. Not only, what Martin Luther King did in the way of peace, but even people that invented things, or like the women that helped us get to the moon, or so that you have this time where you celebrate all the
yeah.
people who have made a difference in building our country,
Right.
including the slaves that helped build our country. you know and
I
then that
think
is where you focus on that. I don't know.
I think the basic thing is just the slavery overall, because of all the things that have done that it went on for so long, and even after slavery they're still fighting. And it was 400 years ago with slavery, and then civil rights was a joke at first because
Yes.
same thing. They were told, okay,
You're
black
saying
people are, huh?
so you're saying that's kind of the, like an all-encompassing meaning for most people with Martin Luther King Day,
I
or with
think so. I think that he was the
Juneteenth.
one that really ended
Yeah,
most of that, because civil rights was,
civil
because
rights
yeah, they
movement.
were
Yeah,
free, but they weren't free.
right.
They were free, but they were second class
That's what one
citizens
feels
from
like.
18. When was slavery ended? 1860 something, 63, or whenever that was done. So 1860 something to 1960. So that was 100 years. They were free, but they
Right,
were second class citizens for a
right.
100 years.
And that's why I feel like Juneteenth is so important. And I
Yeah.
feel like it really fits in with the civil rights movement in this country. So it's like
Yeah.
between the Civil War and then the civil rights movement, Juneteenth
Right.
fits in there too. So that's why I'm saying, in the interest of trying to make all the holidays fair, and
Yeah.
and not take so many days off, how can we figure out a
Right.
way
No, I
where
get
you're
what you're saying. Yeah.
honoring, having a day where you're honoring, and everyone knows this is what this is about,
Yeah.
you know?
See, now, and again, to me, at this point, there's just no way, in my opinion, that slavery can ever be won out, because there's
No,
nothing in our country that's lasted that long. It's been because, like, Caesar, well, poor Caesar Chavez, he was
no,
ended up being a douche. They
I
found out
know.
he was a total douchebag, but he did good for his people, and that's great. But he didn't do that of a magnitude. Even the women, I know women suffered. They went in jail. That lady was force fed, force fed in jail through a tube or whatever, because she refused to eat. That was some pretty bad shit. And yes, women have been treated shitty too. So yeah, if I was gonna say anyone was next in line, it would be women to get their own fucking holiday like that, in my opinion. But even women, like, we still were always pretty free. And even after slavery, we've been voting and all that. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah, we may be second in line, but there's no one else. Like, I'm sorry. Again, Columbus should be changed to Native Americans, because they were fucked up too by our country. So if I was going to say don't add any holidays, fucking replace
Because here's the thing.
Columbus with
You know
Native
what? Everyone's like, what
Americans.
about the white people? Well, here's my thoughts on that.
You have St. Patrick's Day, bitch.
Well, to me, um, the 4th of July, to me, that is
That is
it,
for
it.
white people.
It is for everybody. But what I'm saying is, that's the day that it's like, you know, I know that there were a lot of different cultures that helped to fight that war,
Oh yeah.
obviously. But I'm saying who was behind the whole thing in designing the political nature of this country.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm saying is that is,
That is the white
you know,
holiday.
that's
Let's
everybody's
face it.
holiday. But
Yeah, but
it's like, you know, they take center stage on that one. So, you know, we all celebrate Cinco de Mayo, for example. Now, that's not a good holiday. It's not a
the
holiday.
Mexicans don't celebrate it.
I know they don't. But I'm saying, you know, we don't have a problem with it.
I know.
We don't have a problem with St. Patrick's
But
Day,
it's
even
not
if
a
you're
federal.
not Irish.
It's not a federal
It's not
holiday.
federal.
Yeah.
And
They want a federal white holiday.
yes. Well, 4th of July is one. New Year's
Christmas.
Day
No, I'm
is,
kidding.
well, and but I guess they want something that's just for them.
I know.
It's like every day is just for you, and it has been for well over 200 years.
Well, that's the whole thing.
You know what I
Every day
mean?
is a holiday.
Yeah, every day for white men is
Well,
a day for them.
especially it was every day was a holiday from
250 years or more.
yeah for even up to the civil rights, because even though they didn't have slaves, black people were working for next to nothing. Let's face it, and they were the hired help in many households and different places. They weren't paid the same because there was no regulation. They were just happy not to be slaves, so they took it.
Right.
And so yeah, the white people had a good run. So you know what? Fuck off with that shit. I'm so sick of the whole complaining.
I know.
And
me
then
too.
we had some cousins that would tell us about white slavery, the Irish slavery or whatever, and I go, oh my God. When I hear that shit, I just want to go, that was more like indentured servants. So you can
It
fuck
was
right off with
indentured
that.
servants, and it was poor people in general.
Yeah.
There were a lot of Irish that were poor that came in off the ships, but there were also a
Yeah.
lot of Italians, a lot of, there were a lot of
Yeah.
different people who came in and experienced that indentured servants. There were
Yeah.
people in the 30s who went and picked fruit of all
Right.
cultures that experienced indentured servitude. But that's far different from being owned as a slave and told you cannot go anywhere and you have to do whatever I tell you. And if I want
Yeah.
to, I'm going to sell your kid or sell your wife or whatever.
Well, you know what?
And now, to this day, now they're trying to take things away from or not offer rights for LGBTQ people,
Yeah,
for
that's the
women
new
for the
one.
most part. They've been fighting that tooth and nail all along. So, white man, back up and just be okay with celebrating people who have fought for the right to even be seen
Yeah.
and heard in this country.
Yeah. Well, as far as like the LGBTQ,
Oh,
it
the
it
wind just opened my door. Hold on.
okay.
I think it was the wind.
It was the wind, maybe, but you've had issues with that door opening. I think we did a podcast about that once during the Halloween time.
I pulled it shut harder, so hopefully. Mike and I had an experience with that door that we'll talk about sometime when we start talking about ghosts.
Yeah,
But for now,
ghosts.
we'll skip over
Okay.
that. If the wind blows it open again, I'll know it's the wind.
Okay.
Except that I latched
She's
it.
like the
So.
wind. Anyway,
Yes,
so
viewers, as you see, I'm in a weird room. This is the master bedroom of Mike's family cabin in Lake
yes,
Arrowhead. So we're in Lake
yes,
Arrowhead right now, and
it's beautiful there.
this is the space that I chose to be in so that I don't disturb Mike. He's watching
And
TV.
I will be there the weekend of July 4th
Yes, and we're going to be
to
filming.
celebrate
It's going to be so
America.
fun. America. Yep.
America.
250 years of white rule.
250 years. I found out that's I couldn't remember what it was called. It's the semi-quintessential
Semi-quince.
because
Okay.
it's quince is 5, so it's half
Right.
of 500. Semi, I guess that's what I'm guessing. I don't speak Latin, but I just put it together.
Oh,
Semi-quintessential.
yeah. Gotcha.
Quintessential. I don't know. I may be missing a few vowels in there, but it's something like that.
Quincentennial.
Quince
Quincentennial?
ah, semi-quincentennial.
Semi-quincentennial. That's probably
That's what I
it
meant to
is.
say.
Awesome. I didn't even think about that. That is a
Oh, what a nerd I am. Anyway, so
anyway, the subject. What were you
what the fuck was I
going to
saying? Oh,
say? I don't know.
no, just about, that pride is the new, the new oppressed group and trans. What's funny is, okay, it's like, okay, let me go back a step. First, we
Okay.
accepted that Martin Luther King business, fucking federal holiday, and then now they want the Juneteenth, and now all these gay people, okay, we finally accepted the gay, we're allowing them, they got their marriage rights, and now this trans shit, letting women in sports and this and that, and it's like it just goes on, and
Yes.
I keep saying that the next thing's going to be robots' rights. It'll be robots' rights because people will bring in their very, very lifelike robots in, and they'll be saying, "You can't bring them robots in here." Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then after the robots
This is a no
finally
way
get their
anymore.
no, yeah, when the robots finally get their rights, that's when the aliens will come, and then it'll be,
Yeah.
oh fucking no, aliens! Now they want rights.
They want rights.
I'm telling you, mark my words, you heard it first. I'll be dead and gone probably, but you'll remember
I
that lady
totally,
did
yeah,
predict it.
yeah, it's true.
Fucking America.
Well, I mean, let's not throw out the whole
No,
bunch,
baby
but
with the bathwater. Okay. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. Okay, so like the whole issue with that football player Kaepernick, he didn't want to. He took a knee during the national anthem, and everybody got all pissed off. And he said that national anthem was created at a time when my people were still had no didn't have rights,
right,
and I don't feel it represents me. Now, no one's ever going to change the national anthem. So I was like, dude, I get what you're saying, but that's going to be a hard sell to
hmm
change a lifelong anthem. That doesn't mean we couldn't maybe do a compromise or figure out new words or something. I don't know, but I get it. But the guy who wrote the song and the music didn't necessarily just do it for white people. So
right,
it's a hard one, but he had the right to do that. We're in this country. So how dare you criticize him? Who the
hmm
fuck are you to criticize him? He's exercising his right, right?
right,
So I think that's part of the problem too, is that, like you said, white men created the government system. So that is, that's why I joke that Fourth of July is for white people, because all of this came about for white people. No one
right,
else was represented at that time. They said everybody was created equal under God. Everyone, all men are created equal, but they meant white people because not all men were created equal. It When the slaves came, they weren't
right,
equal,
right,
so they just didn't know, because the only men they saw as themselves were themselves as white. They didn't see the Native Americans or blacks or the Mexicans or the Chinese, anybody who might have been there coming across in a rarity on a boat in the 1600s. They didn't see that in the 1700s. Didn't see anybody else. They only saw themselves as themselves, and they were, God created them all equal. So I do understand, especially
Wait,
a
no,
black person
the door
saying,
just opened again.
"What?
The door
Huh?
just opened again. The
Do you
door
think
just
it's the
opened.
wind?
I don't know.
I don't
I'm
think
gonna
your
leave
ghost
it.
likes our conversation,
Yeah.
or
I
maybe
don't
they
know.
do like our conversation."
I think it just doesn't latch well enough. Um, I
Anyway,
I I get your point. I think um I think that if we Mike's gonna shut it.
shut that door, bitch.
Oh, did he lock me in? Did he lock me in?
Oh no,
Um,
he doesn't sick of hearing your shit.
I feel like lost my train of thought, but um, the whole point here is, why do people get so upset about it? It's like
Yeah,
people getting upset that there's gay couples in the commercials, or that there's mixed race people in commercials. Why do they have to flaunt it in our faces? That's what you hear. It's like, what it is representative of what's actually out there in the world. And it's appealing to everyone so that we all feel like we're a part of the same country. And
right.
I don't understand why people get so upset about that.
Well,
What snowflakes? Seriously.
excuse me. Right.
When? When?
Okay.
Why are they doing that? It makes me sick.
well, I don't want to name names or be too on the nose to hurt anybody's feelings, but I have heard some people say that, like you just said. I even talk to my black coworkers and they think it's excessive. And I'm all, that is, first of all, I guarantee that that's bullshit. And your black coworker's probably as black as, I always joke that my daughter's black. And she's a mama, not black. Not that it matters, but it's just funny because, I'm like, well, the joke is because no one in Ukaipa could put her in a category because they just thought she was black. So that's the joke. I always just say she's black because of that. But you know, people say that stuff, and I'm thinking, okay, I know several people that are mixed race couples, and why wouldn't it be represented? I know Asians with white people, or Asians with Mexicans, or blacks with Mexicans, or blacks with Asians, or I know so many mixed race couples, and I live in Ukaipa, and
Yeah.
it's relatives, it's friends, it's so many people, and that's just what cracks me up. Like, I know so many people in my life, and
It's the
you live in the
norm.
same area I do, and you're telling me that a commercials that they're forcing mixed race couples in a fucking Cheerios commercial or whatever it was that was controversial. It's like, what are you talking about? Or even gay couples. Every show now has a gay couple. I know lots of gay people
I do
at the.
too.
I know
The-
gay people, gay parents from the gym. I know. I've seen gay people. I know there was a gay teacher at one of the school I work at. I saw him. He's obvious. If he's not gay, I'm sorry. I'm like, I guess he's just very effeminate, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But man, if that guy's not gay, I am shocked. We have gay relatives. We have gay friends. We have friends of friends that are gay. We've had gymnastics students that are gay, many,
yeah.
um, boys and girls. So I'm like, what do you mean it's every show has a gay person and it's so forced? Are you fucking, how about this? How about there haven't been enough representation of A, mixed couples, or B, homosexual or trans or gay or lesbian couples, and now they're showing you reality. Like Friends
Reality.
was not necessarily reality because that show was all white heterosexual people. The diversity was in maybe their religious
And it,
beliefs
and
and
it was in
white people
a very urban
race.
setting. It was in a very urban setting.
It was in New York, for
In
God's
in
sakes.
New York, you're obviously not going to have all like it's like so that's the whole point is when we have these months that have these holidays or like the offensive ones like Columbus Day, it always comes to my mind at how petty people are. Instead of
Yeah,
celebrating and cheering it on and saying, yeah, let me learn more about your culture. I want to learn more.
right,
It's like it's somehow knocking them off the top of the mountain.
right.
They don't want to share their space at the top of the mountain, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You
Well, and
know?
you mentioned earlier about the Jewish people. And what's funny is, as far as holidays, Christmas, I know is not, quote, a white person's holiday, but Christmas was celebrated. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I've not studied this, but I'm assuming Christmas was around in America before the slavery happened, right? People were celebrating Christmas, I'm assuming. So it really was kind of a white person's holiday because they weren't celebrating Christmas in Africa. And when the Africans were brought over here by force, or the Native Americans didn't celebrate Christmas before we came along. So
Right.
I'm laughing that it technically was a white holiday. I'm
Well,
sorry, but it
it,
was.
Wendy, it really is because
Okay,
Santa Claus is white.
Santa Claus is white. Jesus is white according to a lot of our Bible pictures that
Yeah,
we grew up with in our books.
yeah.
Okay, so my
But
point of it
yeah,
is
yeah.
Hanukkah came along, and when we were growing up, I barely knew about Hanukkah. I know it was mentioned and probably through TV. That's the only reason I knew about it. Our teachers didn't tell us, hey, there's another religious holiday. Let's study about it. It was, probably something that we saw on TV, and then we just grew up eventually knowing about. No one sat down and told me what Hanukkah is. And then
I
when I found out about Kwanzaa, it was the same thing. Like, oh, another holiday. Oh, first the Hanukkah. Like it's a new holiday, and Hanukkah. And now, but they don't get federal holidays. They don't get a federal fucking holiday for Hanukkah.
no, they don't. But I think that I think what I'm guessing too, at least with the Christmas, with the winter holidays, is that, you know, the Christmas celebration was all about the birth of the Son of God or whatever, you know, or
Yes.
that was right. Where Hanukkah was about their belief that God kept those candles lit for them,
Right,
or
right.
yeah,
They
kept
had enough, they only had enough oil for one night, but then
the oil
miraculously
going.
it
Yeah,
lasted 8 nights. Yeah.
right. And so their belief is that God did that for them, right? So
Yes.
they're both religious holidays to a certain extent,
Yes.
but one is claiming more importance for one reason and not the other. The other's
Okay.
like, oh, well, that's cute. You're commemorating. Don't call it a holiday. You're commemorating that. This is
Okay.
different. So there's all kinds of these petty little,
Right.
chipping away.
Well, and let me, and I know this isn't necessarily the basis of the theme of our podcast, but with the Juneteenth, we're talking about that. I get it, but I have to say, both, Hanukkah and Easter are not holidays. They're not federal holidays because they follow the lunar calendar. Okay, they
That's
follow
right.
the lunar calendar where Christmas doesn't because somebody decided, Constantine, right? We're going to have one day to celebrate all this shit because I'm tired of fighting over all these other fucking pagan bastards. So, okay,
Right.
but that's the whole funny part of it is that the Jews would probably never get a federal holiday, which is ironic because we saw, America supports Israel so much, but then there's also the anti-Semitic people that are. It's
Yeah.
just so baffling. So they probably never will get a holiday because they can't pinpoint Hanukkah. It's always here, there, because of the lunar
The
calendar.
lunar
So
calendar. Well, the ironically though, it's a holiday that has proof. It's a holiday that has a history of proof that it
yeah,
happened, and that it's been since the time it really happened. The families
yeah,
have commemorated it every year of their
right,
life, right?
yes,
Every generation. Where with Christmas, the date's been made up, and nobody even knows the actual
but
truth other than what's written in a book. That
well, some of them have come to terms with it because they're like, yes, we know it wasn't, we know now it wasn't in the winter. We know, but we just celebrate anyway. It's too much to
and
change, which
that's okay.
obviously,
All
yeah,
the
that's
right
okay. That's okay.
to celebrate it, but
Of
don't act
course.
like yours is the most important and the only
I
one
know.
that anyone should be embracing.
Yeah,
Any more than you should deny somebody else to celebrate their culture. Why are
right,
you denying somebody to celebrate their? Well, because they're Americans now. If they want to be American, then well, what is an American holiday then? Besides Fourth
yeah,
of July,
right.
what's an American holiday?
Well, Memorial
The Super
Day
Bowl? Well,
and Labor
Memorial
Day,
Day. Okay, Labor Day, Memorial Day. Yeah, but
those are
everybody
definite
celebrates.
American holidays.
Sure. But what I'm saying is, if if a culture wants to celebrate something that you know um, educates and uh, well, just commemorates
Yeah.
their coming into being, or their specialty, I don't understand why it's a problem. I know that it's a problem, people think, to pay out the money for federal workers to take off for these federal holidays. I mean, that's the excuse they give. Or, well, the banks shouldn't be closed just because they want their special day. I've
Yeah.
heard that one too come out of somebody's mouth. Somebody that Bill, that's
Okay.
an ex-relative of mine, let's just put it that way,
Oh,
um,
yes.
said,
Yes.
yeah, I'm off on Monday because, the federal holiday. And I'm like, what do you mean by that?
Wait a minute though, but they don't say that if it was 4th of July. They don't say that if it's Memorial or Labor Day.
Nope.
It and God forbid if we ever get a Women's Day. I can't believe we still don't have a women's federal holiday. That does piss me off.
Well, because there's
But
no men's federal holiday.
bastards. Wait a minute. This is
So,
what's funny, but see, because they let women in the military, So then Memorial Day they can justify, and then women are in the workforce, so they can justify Memorial and labor. But what's funny is, but when I don't know when they first came up with Memorial Day, but by then I'm sure black people were being honored, or other races too were being honored as much as white people, which is great. But the funny thing is, the first wars that were fought, they wouldn't even put black people or Jewish people in the same cemetery as
Right.
Christians, kind of thing. Or unmarked graves or whatever. So I'm like, it's that same thing again, and they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. It's like, but that was the past. That was the past. Let's just
Right.
forge on. Okay. Well, we have forged on. So now we're saying there's another group that's oppressed, and we want them to be able to forge on. It's not the past. It's happening right now
Right.
with,
Right.
with whatever it's Juneteenth or LGBTQ. Like, it's happening now. So,
Yes.
well, Juneteenth. I
Well,
don't know. I know they were.
when you look at
Huh?
what when you look at what they've been doing with the voting registration, with voting laws
God.
across the states, they're trying to reverse all of the laws that protected minorities,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's minority representation that's the point. People aren't understanding. Yeah, they can vote. They're not taking their vote away, but they're making it more difficult to vote, and they're taking away their jurisdiction that allowed them to have representation for their jurisdiction. When you've got 80% of the population in a jurisdiction that's black, but all of the electoral college votes go to, a whole different district because
Right.
that's the red district, that's not fair. Because then there's no
Yes.
chance for the blacks in that district to have any kind of
Yeah.
representation so people don't think about that,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, they hear it. They think about it
Well,
only because they hear it, and they hear the argument, but then the other side just clouds it up so much,
yeah,
and brainwashes them. It's like they just don't. That's like what they don't. This is my assumption, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, but when they came up with the sorry, I can't even hardly say this with a straight face because it's so ridiculous that even women are saying, yeah, I'd be fine if we had one vote per household. This is what I know. This is what I think happened. I really think that, if they don't, they would shoot themselves in the foot if they made it difficult for women to vote, because isn't there more women than men, I would think, by this
yes,
time. But
yes, there are.
right. So if they do that, yeah. So if they do the one household vote, that's fine. If they succeeded and they did that, but they're not counting on people like me. That, well, I'm technically married on paper, but I'm just saying, how many people that are single or widowed that are
Yeah,
now a household. You know what I mean? Like, how many single people? I know my daughter alone, that she has like several friends that are single, and they're in their 30s, almost 40s. So
or people
you
that
think
aren't
that you're
married,
solving a problem, or they're
people that
not
live
married.
that aren't married.
Yeah, so they're so
Are they a
dumb.
household, or not?
Oh my
So,
gosh.
well, that's never going to happen. That that
No,
that that there's no way the Supreme Court would allow that one to
no,
happen. No
no.
way.
One
It's
vote
got to be
household.
one
Stupid.
individual, one vote.
Yeah. Oh, I
But
think I had commented. Somebody had on the showed a video of them interviewing women at Turning Point USA rally, and they were asking them, "What do you feel about?" And then they're all, like they're like Stepford wives. I would love
I
to
know. I would
let my
because
husband do all my thinking for me, and he can vote for me. And then I put in a little comment. I said, "What if you have adult children living in your household? Then what? They're their own, and especially a man. I bet if my son, who is living with me, if he voted, it would count. But I guarantee if my daughter was living with me, somehow it's like back in the old days where you need some kind of fucking dowry or something,
right.
like,
Well, that's what they want. They want it to go back to, women were just like cattle. You're just a
yeah,
commodity that we buy and sell and tell what to do.
yeah.
Well, no and no, and
But for
double.
you,
Oh, the door just opened again. All
well,
right.
the
Well,
well, the curtains are
the
blowing
curtain's
behind you,
blowing,
so
so yeah.
there might be some proof
None
there.
of our doors, none of our doors lock here, so it's all right.
Why would they need to? I guess.
No, they don't. We're not doing anything weird. So,
Nothing nefarious. It's a cabin, for God's sakes. No.
and I've got a 65-year-old body. You want to walk into the bathroom on me? That's really your loss
That's
because
what that's
it's
what I
for
say.
me.
Look on, man.
Like,
Look at my fupa. Stare at it in all its glory.
yeah, here you go.
Good Lord. So many comments I'll keep to myself about my body. I was thinking of an OnlyFans and it just got crazier and crazier in my head, and we don't need to go there, but um yeah, I again with that one parent, like I said, just the whole thing about it's some excuse to get another day off, and it's like, what the fuck are you talking about, man?
Yeah,
And again, it's you're mad at the government, but you're complaining to other people. Why would
right.
you? What do you think they're going to do? What are you getting, sir? Sir, what are you getting out of complaining to uh, your your child's caregivers and or about the employees that they're not even involved. They're caregivers. They don't work at the school. So me getting off work is affecting them, but it's like, why are you telling them? And they were black and brown. Like, what are you thinking? What are you getting out of telling people you're
Right.
complaining?
Yeah, I know
How
what you're
does that
saying.
make you feel
Well,
better,
you
you
know,
know? Excuse me.
but let's hold up. Let's play the devil's advocate here. Let's look at it
Yes.
from their side too. Their side is we don't have special holidays for just white people. I mean that, and it's true. I mean, other than what we've covered
They're
already,
not wrong. They're not wrong.
they're not wrong. St. Patrick's Day is not a good one to bring up because that's like,
No.
that's a fun
Not
Irish
everybody's
thing.
Catholic, or
It's
not
more of a,
everybody's Irish. Yeah.
that's a cultural thing. It's a
Yeah.
cultural thing more than it's not a
Like
white
Cinco de Mayo. Yeah. Okay.
because white you got French, German,
Yeah.
even Italian really is
Yeah.
considered, Romanian, English, Irish,
Nordic,
Scottish, Welsh, you name it,
Swedish.
Norwegian, Swedish. So you've got all of these different cultures that are known as white people because some guy back, I can't even remember when, but it was way before our time, decided to name all of the races. And ever since then, we've been using that. And it was
Yeah.
wrong then and it's wrong now. You know,
Right.
Japanese, Chinese, Vietnamese, Korean, those are all people that they lump into one package.
Yeah.
So that's what they've done to all of us.
Yeah.
You're not Irish, Scottish, or I call myself American stew because basically that's what we are. You and me, we're American stew. We've got a little bit of everything, a dash of this, a dash of that. We
Well,
can't
yes and
really
no.
relate to
We
any
pretty
one.
much have three heavy hitters, though. But
Well, there are. I know. There's a lot of. It's like the meat of our stew
yeah,
is Scottish, and the potatoes of our stew is Irish. No pun intended. Or
unintended.
joke intended, or whatever.
I mean, we
So
basically have Scottish, Irish, and British,
German,
English, whatever. That's. I mean,
English,
the rest is insequential, inconsequential, whatever.
inconsequential. It's
Inconsequential.
Northwestern European is really what we're all about.
Yeah.
So, but my point is that white encompasses a whole lot of different cultures.
Yeah.
Black encompasses a whole lot of different cultures. So it shouldn't be, I want to have a white holiday. No, you can celebrate whatever culture you relate to that's in your little stew.
Yeah.
It's like,
Again,
and
that's what
I
it,
think
but
that's
that's
where
what
they're
July
coming
4th
from.
is supposed to be. It's supposed to be celebrating America and
That's
fighting
a
for the
melting
rights
pot.
of America that is a melting pot
Yeah,
that
yeah.
encompasses everybody.
So culturally, we should all be able to just celebrate whatever culture we relate to and that we come from. And but I see their point of saying, well, why should we make that a federal holiday? If not everybody gets that, why is it a federal holiday? Now, if it's like Juneteenth, that's a whole different thing. Juneteenth is a celebration of the end of slavery for good, right?
Yeah.
That's what it's
Yeah, because
about.
Martin Luther King wasn't the end of slavery. That was about civil rights. That's not even
Right.
the same thing.
And
Yeah.
Martin Luther King, even though it was about civil rights, it was also about a man that was as close to a new Messiah as you could possibly get
Yeah.
in the way he was preaching peace and trying to,
Yes.
talk to grasp people's hearts and understand why everyone deserves the same rights.
Right.
And he made it happen. He instigated all of it. And so he to me deserves a part of the important peoples that we
Right.
celebrate. I don't have a
On
problem
that,
with it.
by the way, on that note, I just laughed because there was something about Trump said he claimed that he had more people at his whatever than Martin Luther King, and the way he said it's like, oh, I don't know, that's what they say. And it's like, you fucking know damn well you wanted to mention that just to point out that someone said that. What cracks me up about that is it's the same as when someone talks about making so much money, or, a movie costs this much money to make, or can you believe how it was only a nickel to get a ice cream back in the day? Well, yeah, that's yeah,
Yep, because
but
you
that
made a
was how much it
burger
cost because of
or
you
whatever.
made $1 an hour, so a
Yeah.
nickel was appropriate. So I mean, it's just funny that I think even if he did have quote more people than Martin Luther King, there are more people now. Asswipe. There's social media to tell people about events. Asswipe. You know, you should think more that Martin Luther King had that many people by word of mouth. There
Yeah.
wasn't coverage of that shit like there is today. So if you want to compare apples and oranges, buddy, you
Yeah.
know, that you're still going to lose, because if you compare it to back in the day, he still beats you, even if he had a smaller number in his crowd, just on word of mouth alone. So the
Well,
magnitude of him to get that many people together.
right. Let's not even talk about character. I don't even have to add
Jesus.
that in there. But
Hmm.
I think
That's just a
I,
given when
I
we talk about Trump.
like I said, I know I'm going to get hate for it, and I know people are going to oppose me on it. But I understand where they're coming from with how the other people feel about um, making holidays out of certain things. But in the same breath, those same people are saying we can't change Columbus Day. What do you mean
So
celebrate
dumb.
the Native Americans? It's like, think about
Hey,
what you're
buddy.
saying right now. If it weren't for them, we wouldn't be here
Yeah.
at all. We wouldn't be the U.S., but the white people wouldn't have survived.
Yeah. They did a lot of shit for
On
free,
the
idiots.
list, So it's it's just
But my
I
point is, I don't
hypocrisy
think,
in the playing back and forth with their logic.
well, and I think and again, yeah, we're playing devil's advocate, and I can say, well, I understand. I don't even want to say I understand where they're coming from. I see where they're coming from, but they're wrong, is what I'm saying. Like, I see where they think they're coming from, because they've reigned for so long. You don't fucking need a holiday. You don't
Yes,
need a holiday.
every day
That's
is a
the whole
holiday.
point.
Like
And that I think like this month might be Pacific Islander month. I could swear. I always think of it as my birthday, as in June. And I always think, because I know this is so weird. This is the kind of ADHD weird shit. But I remember going to the Chase Bank ATM, and they'd always put that kind of shit on the screen.
oh
We're
really?
celebrating whatever. And I think I remember always going, oh yeah, it's Pacific Islander month. Now that may be wrong, but I think it's June. But there were people who were even upset about celebrating months. I'm pretty sure Trump said,
I know.
Black History Month, I swear he said, we're gonna erase that. I'm like, how do you erase a month? That has nothing to do with you. A Black
And
History
it's
Month
not
isn't a
possibly
federal,
well, he
it's not a
can't just
federal
declare that.
recognition.
I think it's because if recognition as in putting it on calendars, the
Oh,
government
I see.
calendars, putting up posters, remember it's such and such month. That's what he's talking about.
Oh,
That
okay, yeah.
the federal government system, that they will not be doing this anymore. Well,
Yeah.
let's see. Are they going to still do it for other things? If not, then I get it. It's like prayer in schools or whatever.
Yeah,
If you're
that's
gonna,
fine.
if you're going to allow prayer for every religion, then you shouldn't allow it for any religion.
Like the
So
Ten Commandments going in the school.
yeah, if you're gonna, so I maybe that's what he was maybe
Probably.
that's what it's about. That's not what it's about, but
No,
that's on face,
no.
on face,
Well,
that's what
for
it's about.
example, I know when Obama was in there, at least I remember during Pride Month they had the rainbow lights around the Capitol. See, that's the kind
Yeah,
of shit they won't do.
yeah.
Now,
Well,
by the way, as of this recording, I think it was yesterday or the day before when they finally the judge said you have to take Trump's name off the Kennedy Center. We were all excited about that, but that kind of shit.
one small victory, you know.
One small victory, I'll take it. Yeah.
Yep. But I feel like I've always felt like we should have a cultural diversity day that's a holiday. Cultural diversity day,
I
and
think that
it's
would be
spent
good. Yeah.
having like festivals. Everybody, it's almost like you know,
A federal holiday for everybody to celebrate their culture. You got the Puerto Rican
yeah,
Pride Parade, or the
everyone
in Chinatown, whatever. Everyone, wherever they are, could
diversity.
celebrate.
Yeah, you have diversity celebration festivals where you have different booths that show history and they talk about it and they serve the food from their culture and stuff like that
Yeah.
so that we all can engage together in understanding each other.
Wait a minute,
I
though.
that would be awesome, you know?
But I'm going to stop you right there.
Uh-oh.
Because if you think about what we just said, and then you said celebrating the diversity, if we're all in our own people's things, we're not enjoying other cultures. We're only enjoying our own culture.
No, what I mean is it'd be a diversity celebration. It's not
Yeah.
about your culture can go celebrate on their own, yours can go celebrate. It's pushing for some kind of special funded uh, diversity day where
Okay.
all cultures get together to learn about each other. So you'd have dances from different cultures on a
Oh, I know
stage.
what you're saying. Like if you had it
You
like at
know,
a city thing or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
at parks or whatever. So there'd be like some kind
Yeah.
of a fund that
Now, yeah,
would
that
do
would be
this.
cool. That'd be
You
cool.
know,
I would totally be down for
voting
that.
should be a
Yes.
holiday, and to me, voting should be a
Huh?
holiday.
It
Voting.
should be because they make it so damn hard. Like, and they don't, their fuckers are on about the mail-in ballots and shit. Well, some of us work and there's just no way. I had two jobs taking care of my granddaughter. It's not easy to, oh, now I got to go in and vote. That's what those, or people who are disabled. But see, he doesn't want disabled people, or should a lot of people they don't want disabled people. They don't want any diversity. They just want straight white people, men voting for the people they want. And a lot of people can't see that, but it's pretty obvious. I don't know
Yeah,
why
well,
it's not obvious, but
you
it
have to
is.
cheat to win. You're making yourself pretty obvious. If you
Yeah.
have to cheat to win, then you're not worth shit.
I love though that when they asked Trump, well, can you give us any proof that there's California's, you know, cheating somehow? And he's like, I just know. It's obvious. And then Mike Johnson, he's all, it's just diabolical what they're doing, and it's just too hard to prove. It's like,
They just put labels and names on everything that because they don't have any way of showing you that it's true. So they're just gonna gaslight, right?
he's such that Mike Johnson. He's such a little mouse pussy ass bitch.
I would bet that behind closed doors he celebrates gay pride.
I don't know, man.
But I
I
don't
don't
think they want
care.
to claim him. I'm sure they don't want to claim him, so I shouldn't say that because
Yeah.
it's insulting them.
Uh, I think we should definitely have. Maybe we should do Pride in the last week,
Okay.
the last whatever the last Friday is. Or no, oh, we might have to do Fourth of July that day. Maybe we could do Pride and birthday and Father's Day. I think that all would we could do all those together.
Well, we'll see. We'll talk more about it.
We'll
I
talk
know
more
you have
about it
more to
because
say that we didn't get to, right?
well, yeah, but this was good though because we we, uh,
Yeah.
we we had more to say on it than we thought we would. So the whole
True.
Juneteenth thing was for
But
whatever
I think
reason is a hot button, but
most people who know us already knew all this, so it was like
they
just hearing
know.
us say it again. I'm trying to be more. I'm trying to be more open-minded to everybody. I'm really
I
trying to
mean,
do that, except if it's completely unjustified there's no way
Yeah.
that I can even stomach what they're saying, obviously. But I'm trying to get inside their head a little more to figure out, well, what is it that's such a problem, you know?
No, I know what you're saying. I do know what you're saying, and I agree to that, but there is that part of me that's like, I don't give a fuck anymore because I'm so sick of
I know.
people and they
I know.
just don't listen and they're and again, they're not gonna sway me and I'm not gonna sway them. So you feel like what's the point, you know? But yeah, I get what you're saying. I do try to reflect a little more on, okay, let me get down to this level and see what can I take away from this? What are they thinking? Um,
Well,
you know,
especially when it comes to government people, political people who talk out of one side of their mouth about Christian this, Christian that, blah, 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 and then everything else on the other side of their mouth or everything that they do is completely against everything that Jesus supposedly
yeah,
said. You know, that to me is where I draw the line. It's like if you can't
yeah,
give me a solid reason as to why you feel the way you do,
yeah.
you know, then I'm not going to
Well,
listen.
well, it's just like we were talking about earlier with prayers in school or Ten Commandments. You're already having a fit that a Muslim kid needs a prayer room or a prayer place, but then you want your prayers in school. Like,
Right.
what the fuck? Or,
Right.
the Ten Commandments, and then one teacher put up all the other things around the Ten Commandments from other countries, and she got busted
Right.
for that.
Right.
And it's
Right.
like, what? That
Yeah.
there's no way you cannot say it's all for us, a
Right.
certain group. Say with
Right.
the war on Christmas, you're
Hmm.
putting it in one certain group, dude. And
Right.
with that, that's not just whites though. That's different cultures that are Christian. Christians a whole there with the war on Christmas. That has nothing to do with just white people. That
Yeah.
definitely is just Christian against everybody else. But I don't know, man. I think that the Tea Party started this whole MAGA revolution. The MAGA
Yes.
was born out of the Tea
They did.
Party, and it's got traction, and it's its own freaking entity now.
And it's all about don't let us lose our white rule. That's what
That's
it's
what
what
it
it's about.
is.
And I that's why I love the pagan attitude. Live and
Yeah,
let live. You know, if
or
none harm
pantheism.
if none harm thee, let it be. If it's not hurting you, then
Yes,
go on, move on. You know, so that's where I end this
because
discussion is.
yeah, I feel like pantheism is so much like Native
I,
American
I love
culture with their
pantheism.
spirituality. You know.
Yes. I've been reading a lot about pantheism. I've always known about it, but I just kind of dove into it a little more recently. So that's something we need to have a conversation about.
Oh, we will someday. There's so many we'll never run out of subjects. We always
We
thought,
might,
God, what if we run out of subjects? Are you
we might
kidding
run
me?
out of.
I got a big fucking mouth. I could talk about shit for days and hours. I'll never run out of shit to talk about.
You know, people who know us know this. Now, the viewer, we might run out of viewers, but we won't run out of things to talk about.
We just love hearing ourselves talk. We'll just
We
talk
do.
forever.
We do. You know what? If you don't
All
care,
right.
if you have a problem with it, I don't fucking care.
I know IDGAF, bitch.
That's right. Because grandma ain't right.
Grandma's not right. So where do you think you were all this whole hour long?
Yeah. That's what we're about. We just
Right,
talk about
bitch.
things that you probably don't care about. And if you do care about them, great. Comment, participate, let us know how you feel.
So true. Yeah, that's the thing. If you're not gonna, you can't. Let's have a conversation about it.
Yeah,
We still have to have a special guest one of these times, but I don't know if we
we
can talk
will.
anybody to coming on. I don't know.
I think we will. Now next week is your birthday, and
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
trying to work on something, but we'll see what happens.
It's really okay. I'm not. It's 59. It's not the important birthday.
Nope, but boy, is the next year going to be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be wild, man.
All right.
All
So,
right, lady.
thank you very much, everybody, for joining
Yes,
us.
thank you.
And we tried to keep it to an hour this time, so
We tried. Okay.
we appreciate you, and we will see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
Like and subscribe. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.